Hi, Tam here, and I would like to talk to you about the exciting and riveting topic that is insurance. Now let's talk about travel insurance, and especially travel insurance when going on a cruise ship. Now this video is long overdue, right? Because this has been on my mind for a long time. There's a large amount of people who go on cruise ships every year on vacation, and they just don't take travel insurance. And if you're one of those people, well, let me tell you, you're making a big mistake. Now, just to put things into perspective a little bit, right? When you go in a foreign country, so when you go in a foreign country on vacation and you're renting a car, you want to make 100% sure that the car you're renting comes with insurance. Insurance in case somebody hits you. Insurance in case you hit somebody. In case your car is stolen. You want to have insurance because you know it's going to be very expensive to cover the cost of a wrecked car. Or let's say you hit a pedestrian accidentally. It has to be accidentally, otherwise you will be homicidal, But anyway, when you go in a foreign country, you take insurance for your car insurance. When you buy a flight ticket to fly to your destination, you buy insurance. Well, if you're going to use a third-party provider, meaning, you might be flying with Emirates, Etihad, Qatar, or whatever the airline. If you're going to book your ticket through a third party, you will take insurance, travel insurance. And the reason you're doing that is because, Emirates, for instance, will have a certain price for a certain ticket. If you book your ticket through a third party, you'll always get a cheaper price. And then if you go to Expedia.com or whatever, you're going to get a better price than the original price that the company offers on their website. Yes, you're going to get a cheaper price, but it's cheaper for a reason. You don't get insurance, meaning if you cancel your flight, if you get sick and you can't fly, if you're a no-show, if anything happens and something happens and you can't fly, usually, unless you take travel insurance, you will not get reimbursement. And not to jump into another topic here, but that's why you should never book your flights through third-party providers. Yes, go into their websites, I'm talking about third parties, just to look at the prices and what's on offer. But once you've picked your flight and you see that, let's say, Singapore Airlines offers the better price, go then to the Singapore Airline website and book your ticket there. If Emirates seems to be offering the better deals, leave the third-party website and go into the Emirates website and book your ticket there. Yes, it will be a bit more expensive, but it comes with some guarantees. It's refundable, or depending on your ticket, it could be a partial refund or some kind of deal like that. But usually, right, you're gonna get some of your money back if you have an emergency. That was just a side note. Now let's talk about travel insurance on cruise ships. I'm a doctor, a medical doctor on a cruise ship. This cruise ship in particular, our home port is Sydney, Australia. And right now, we are somewhere in the South Pacific. Now, throughout my years as a cruise ship doctor, I've come across a lot of passengers who actually don't get travel insurance. They choose not to buy travel insurance. And that's a very, very big mistake. You cannot go on a cruise ship. You cannot sail away on a cruise ship on vacation with no travel insurance. You can't do that. That's very dangerous. And quite honestly, it's reckless, right? Let me explain. And this applies not so much in Australia, right? Because I've noticed that in Australia, for instance, I would say 90% of the passengers here were coming on this cruise ship from Australia, right? And not necessarily that they are Australians, but many of them, the majority of them are Australians, but you also see there's also a lot of passengers who are from China, who are from Europe, who are from the rest of Asia, from everywhere basically, from the US, but the bulk of the passengers are Australians and New Zealanders. And I would say 90% of my passengers here take travel insurance. Good, well done, But in the US, for instance, I noticed that, when I work on cruise ships departing out of the US, where the majority of the passengers are from the US, right? Quite a large amount of passengers just don't take travel insurance. And that's a mistake. That's a mistake. You must have travel insurance. And I'll tell you why. As a cruise ship doctor, why it's so important to have travel insurance, right? Now, every single cruise, I deal with life-threatening emergencies. I would say on the average, every 3 days, there is a life-threatening emergency. And I'm telling you this to tell you that a medevac, a helivac, a helicopter evacuation at sea from a cruise ship will set you back, if you don't have travel insurance, anything from $20,000 to $40,000, Now, most of the quotations that I was getting in the US were about, on the average, $30,000, $30,000 plus. Some were $45,000. It's expensive. It depends on where you are, how far is the helicopter going to travel to reach you, who's coming, right? I mean, if it's a helicopter with the Coast Guard, with a flying doctor, the ICU equipment in the helicopter, all that stuff, So, I mean, there's a lot of parameters that will determine the price. But, if you don't have travel insurance, helicopter evacuation at sea, let's say $30,000, and it could get much more expensive than that. $45,000-$50,000, that's not unusual, right? And that's why you must have travel insurance. Yes, of course, your agent with whom you book the cruise told you that yes, you will save 10% if you don't take travel insurance, just like when you buy an air ticket through a third party, right? You might save 10% or even 15% as opposed to going directly on the website of the airline, because Emirates is selling tickets for $2,000, but if you go on a third-party website, you might get that ticket for $1,750, right? So you're saving money, but you don't get insurance with that. You're going to have to purchase insurance. And if you refuse to do so, you do so at your own risk. The same with cruise lines. Your agent, because he or she is working on commissions, might tell you that, yeah, but you know what, you don't really need insurance because they've got doctors, they've got nurses, they've got medical centers that are fully equipped, so you'll be okay. But that's not true. I mean, yes, it's true. Cruise ships have doctors, cruise ships have nurses, cruise ships have good equipment. But it's not true that you don't need travel insurance. We work here with limitations. Like I said before, there's a lot of stuff that we can't do here. We can't do surgery here. Right? So please, when you go on a cruise ship, always take travel insurance. You might think that you're saving some few extra bucks, but yes, you might be saving $100, $50, $200 maybe. But if you have a medical emergency and I have to disembark you urgently via a helicopter, the $100 that you saved yourself will be a drop in the water, a drop in the ocean, as compared to the $40,000 that you're going to have to pay. And that's just the beginning. When I talk about $30,000, right, $40,000, I'm just talking about the cost of the helivac, the helicopter evacuation. But you are going to be evacuated in a foreign country, meaning you left from the port of Sydney, you have a medical emergency right now, and you are very close to New Caledonia. You are less than 100 nautical miles from Lifu, right, in New Caledonia. If you have a medical emergency right now, a life-threatening emergency, a ruptured appendix, or a bowel obstruction that has ruptured, and you're bleeding, intra-abdominal bleeding, intra-abdominal hemorrhage right now, yes, I will call for a helicopter, in this case, the French Coast Guards. Yes, they will bring a helicopter. Yes, they will evacuate you urgently. But that amount of money that you're going to pay is just for the evacuation. From there, the helicopter will take you to, in this case, the best hospital in the region is Medipol Hospital in Noumea, which is the capital city of New Caledonia, right? Meaning the helicopter will have to take you all the way to Noumea. That's quite a distance from here. So that's expensive. And then from there, land at the Medipol Hospital. And from there will be a surgical team that will take you to the operating room, and they will perform the surgery for you. That will cost a lot of money. You don't have travel insurance. Your local insurance from your country will not cover you internationally unless you specifically have air travel insurance. So you're paying for the helicopter evacuation, you're paying for the surgery in a foreign country, you're paying for your ICU stay, and then after that you will need repatriation back to your country. So back in Australia, if you're Australian, right? The home port being Sydney, repatriation from Noumea to Sydney by commercial flight is 3 hours. So you will need a jet ambulance, and that's very expensive, very expensive. So you can just imagine how much the total cost will be. You will be set back much more than $100,000, perhaps $200,000, $250,000. These things are expensive. So please always have travel insurance. Never cruise with no travel insurance. I see families, when I disembark their loved ones, I mean, they're crying, obviously, because it's an emergency. But they're crying because, they are in shock because their relative is seriously ill, dying. But they're also crying because they know that it's going to cost them an arm and a leg. So my patients, or rather the families of my patients, say that, oh wow, you know, I can never afford this. How am I going to pay for this? I mean, you know, I've never saved that much money. I mean, I don't even have 10% of that in my bank account. I don't even have 5% of that amount in my bank account. You know, what am I going to do? And you know, it's a tragedy, it's a financial tragedy. So now, you know, you have a tragedy in terms of your health, you know, but yes, you're going to recover, they're going to save your lives, but then after that, you're left with bills for the rest of your life. So to recap, don't listen to those who tell you that, you know, you're going to save some few $100 on your cruise by avoiding or refusing to take travel insurance. Do yourself a favor and enjoy your vacation at sea on a cruise ship. And have peace of mind knowing that you have travel insurance. That part of your cruise is sorted. You know, people always believe that, you know, it's never going to happen to them. There's no way they're going to be the ones in an accident, in a coma, lying on the floor. You know, but accidents are accidentals, right? Nobody is planning to have an accident. It could happen to anyone and everyone. Kids have accidents. Older people have accidents. Very careful, responsible people have accidents. Many times accidents are not your fault. It's somebody else's recklessness that has caused an accident that has now injured you. Right? So please, always take travel insurance. That's my advice to you. Cheers. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video till the end. If you've liked this video, please leave me a like. If you have any comments, leave a comment. If you have any questions, leave a question. I'll answer you. Don't forget to subscribe. My goal is to now get to 300 subscribers by the end of the month. Cheers.